following is a presentation of Main Street Media, your source for news, sports, and information on Main Street in Middle Tennessee. It's Reaction Monday. Welcome into the program, Main Street Sports. Today on the program, we'll be chatting with Doug FEINBERG, Associated Press writer, covers women's basketball. Also, soon-to-be TSSAA Executive Director Mark Reeves, currently the Assistant Executive Director. He'll be joining us. Little Reaction Monday as Tiger completes the Masters, the race, the marathon. And the number one ranked player in the world, Scottie Scheffler, with the win. Also, the Braves' first series of the year, and Chris's trip to Hot Atlanta, where the world champs got off to the start. That and so much more on this Monday, Reaction Monday edition of Main Street Sports Today. Now, to the Hall of Famer and Sports Writer of the Year, Mr. Mo Patton, and the Sundrop Kid from Alabama, fresh from the outlet malls in North Georgia, Chris Yao.
No doubt there. Welcome in on this Monday edition. It is Reaction Monday. I'm Chris Yao. That's Mo Patton. This is Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Glad to have you with us here as we have tons to get into and a lot of sports to react to. So we will get right into it as quickly as we can, because today's top story, the opening tip, comes out of Los Angeles, where the Lakers are, Mo, in search of a new coach, and we will talk about that 3-year tenure and what's next for the LeBron Lakers. I mean, LA Lakers.
The LBJ Lakers.
Exactly. So we will get to that in a little bit later on in this first half. But we know it's coming off the weekend, which means there's a lot of scores we got to get to, a lot of schedule on the high school side. Anyway, nothing outside of high school, one college baseball game. The Braves are playing tonight, and that's it. So that being said, we're going to send it back to JP and give you all the scores and schedules on the rundown.
This is the Rundown.
Let's do it.
The Monday Rundown is brought to you by Zion Christian Academy, providing a Christ-centered college prep education at an affordable cost. Call 931-388-5731 or visit zioneagles.org to schedule an appointment for a tour today. All right, let's get right into it. Friday, high school baseball, Brentwood over Nolensville 7-2 as Clarksville Academy 13-5 over Pope John Paul II. Davidson Academy 13-0 over Clarksville Northeast. Cornersville 5-2 over Colioca. It was Davidson Academy falling to Christian County from Kentucky. Eagleville 4-3 over Community. Mount Pleasant 4-1 over East Hickman. Fairview 11-1 over Cheatham County. Centennial falls to Franklin 8-6. Gallatin over Seymour 15-1. Giles County 3-2 winners over Collinwood. Hampshire shut out by Wayne County 10-0. West Creek 6-3 over Hillwood. Forest defeats Lawrence County 6-3. Loretto 1-0 over Forest. Leon County, Kentucky,
We don't know.
4-3 winners over Mount Juliet. Summit 10-8 over Page. Ravenwood 16-1 over Cane Ridge. It was Loretto 10-5 over Richland. Tullahoma falls to Rockville 10-3. Stewart's Creek 3-2 over Oakland. Summertown big over Richland 14-4. Spring Hill defeats Summertown 6-5, and Creekwood 16-6 over Waverly. Friday scores in high school softball. Columbia defeats Hickman County 13-1. Columbia Academy 16. Middle Tennessee Christian 1. Zion Christian 7-4 over Community. Davidson Academy 16-1 over Clarksville Academy. East Hamilton 8-3 over Harpeth. Clarksville Northwest shut out by Macon County 10-0. Nolensville 4-3 winners over Walker Valley. Walker Valley then defeated Good Pasture 7-3. Waverly, a pair of wins over White House 3-1, and Father Ryan 7-0. Wayne County over Decatur County Riverside 6-4, and Zion Christian shutting out Cannon County 9-0. On the pitch from Friday, Bearden 3, Neal over Gallatin. Oakland 4-1 over Blackman. Giles County falls to Page 11-2. Hendersonville 5-1 over Farragut. Hunters Lane downs White House 3-1. Loretto doubles up Decatur County Riverside 4-2. MLK 3-1 winners over Hume Fogg. Siegel shuts out Riverdale 3-0, and Stewart's Creek 3-1 over Rockville. Saturday baseball, Green Hill 2-0 over Beach. Columbia Academy shutting out BGA 10-0. Brentwood 6-5 over Oakland. Centennial 1-0 over Blackman. Clarksville 5-4 over Leon County from Kentucky. We're rolling with that one. Columbia 3-2 over Siegel. CPA 5-2 over Creekwood. Dixon County 21-3 over Kenwood. Then 8-4 over Fairview. East Robertson 3-2 over Harpeth. West Creek 14-0 over Fort Campbell from Kentucky. Grace Christian with a pair of wins over Franklin.
Same score.
7-5 and 7-5. That was not a recording. Houston 14-4 over Gallatin. Giles County with a pair of wins. First over Page 10-6. Then Hamilton from Alabama 10-4. Good Pasture 13-3 over MBA. Hendersonville 5-1 over Watertown. Henry County 12-1 over Clarksville Northwest. Houston 15-5 over Rossview. East Nashville 21-2 over Howard. Sycamore 2-1 over Lebanon. CAK 6. Middle Tennessee Christian 5. It is Mount Juliet 12. Seymour 1. Mount Juliet Christian 11. Hillsboro 2. Riverdale 5-3 winners over Ravenwood. Mount Juliet 9-7 over Rossview. Silverdale Academy 10-0 over Middle Tennessee Christian. Rockville 18-11 over Tullahoma. And Wilson Central 12-3 over Elizabethton. Saturday scores in softball. Mount Pleasant 5-4 over Cannon County. Cornerstone Christian Texas defeats Clarksville 4-2. Clarksville over Zionsville from Indiana, 9-2. Clarksville over Livingston Central from Kentucky, 8-0. Community with 3 wins, 2 over Mount Pleasant, 12-4 and 14-4, and then over Colioca, 17-3. Colioca 7-0 over Canyon County. East Hamilton 6-2 winners over Blackman. Forest falls to Green Hill 9-6. Forest then gets back at Green Hill 8-6. Winners, and then defeats Good Pasture 7-1. Columbia 22-9 over Laverne. Walker Valley with a pair of wins over Brentwood Academy, and Independence 5-3, 8-5, 10-3. Waverly with a pair of wins over Collierville 3-1 and over Walker Valley 3-1. Zion Christian successful day on Saturday. 3-1 winners over Community, 16-3 over Colioca, 13-1 over Cannon County, and 8-3 over Colioca. 4 wins for Zion Christian. Boys soccer from Saturday, Hendersonville 2-2 tie with Bearden. Knox Central defeats Gallatin.
I guess.
Sure, we'll go with that. They defeat Gallatin. Sunday baseball, Clarksville 4, Tees Valley, Ohio, nothing. Softball, pair of games. It was Coffee County 11-1 over Tullahoma, and Riverdale over Soddy Daisy 2-1. College baseball series results, Auburn takes 2 of 3 from Vanderbilt. Tennessee swept another SEC opponent, this time Missouri at home. Austin Peay sweeps UT Martin in 3 games. Belmont takes 2 of 3 from Tennessee Tech. Lipscomb 3-0 in their series over Eastern Kentucky. MTSU took 2 of 3 from Marshall. Trevecca took 4 from Lake Erie. Cumberland sweeping Bethel in a 3-game set. Columbia State took 2 of 3 from Cleveland State, and Ball State gets a win over Southwest Tennessee State. In college softball, it was Georgia getting 2 out of 3 from Tennessee. Austin Peay, the same over Tennessee State. FIU, the same over MTSU. Murray State, 2 of 3 from Belmont. North Alabama, 2 of 3 from Lipscomb. Trevecca swept a 2-game set with Tiffin. Lindsey Wilson took 3 of 4 from Cumberland. Cleveland State took 3 of 4 from Columbia State, and Ball State swept Southwest Tennessee State in 4 games. In the Major League Baseball, the series for the Braves Friday, 7-6 winners over the Reds, 2-1 on Saturday, and fall to the Reds 6-3 on Sunday. The Sounds get wins all 3 days, so they bounce back after a pair of losses. Yeah, after back-to-back losses after an opening night win. They beat Durham 3-2, 2-1, and 4-3 over the weekend. NHL, the Preds fall to the Panthers 4-1, and then fall to the Penguins in overtime 3-2. NBA, the Grizzlies 141-114 over the Pelicans. That's the regulation too, right?
Yes.
Impressive. But then they give up 139 to the Celtics in a 139-110 loss. All right, to the schedule today, Laverne at Cane Ridge, 4 p.m. Note the times, but check your local listings here. 4:30.
These are baseball games.
Correct, thank you. Pearl Cone at East Nashville, Innsworth at Father Ryan. It is BGA at Franklin Road Academy. Good Pasture hosting Nashville Christian. Hillwood welcomes Martin Luther King. Maplewood will travel to Hume Fogg. Lipscomb Academy hosts Pope John Paul II. South Haven at Zion Christian. All of those again. That's a doubleheader. That final one will start at 4:30 today. At 5, it'll be Glencliff at Murfreesboro Central Magnet. At 5:30, the following games will be Wayne County at Richland, Mount Juliet Christian hosting Isle Harding, Hampshire at Collinwood. At 6 tonight, Mount Pleasant at Lewis County, Loretto at Wilson from Alabama, Colioca at Santa Fe, Davidson Academy at Clarksville Academy. At 6:30, Columbia will host Independence. It'll be Gordonsville at Columbia Academy. Fairview host Harpeth. DCA at Friendship Christian. Middle Tennessee Christian at Grace Christian. John Overton welcomes Brentwood. Montgomery Central will host Springfield. Tullahoma at Page. Also, Nolensville at Ravenwood, McCracken County, Kentucky at Rossview, Spring Hill hosts Lawrence County tonight, Smyrna at Stewart's Creek. Summertown welcomes Giles County, Smith County will be at Westmoreland. At 7 tonight, Dixon County at Summit, White House hosts Greenbrier, Cheatham County at White House Heritage, CPA at Eagleville at some point today, Hillsboro at Centennial as well. No times for those games. Check your local listings. Softball today. 4 p.m. first pitch, Hillwood at Maplewood. Springfield at Gallatin, that's at 4. At 4:30, Springfield at Gallatin. Mount Juliet Christian at Grace Christian. Also, that's Franklin at 4:30. Davidson Academy hosts Good Pasture at 4:30. Other 4:30 games, Hillsboro at Innsworth, Nashville Christian at Lipscomb Academy. The following games at 5 o'clock, Santa Fe at Collinwood, PGA at Columbia Academy, Community hosting East Hickman, Middle Tennessee Christian at CPA, Isle Harding and hosting Clarksville Academy, White House at Greenbrier, Montgomery Central will welcome Waverly. Also at 5, Frank Hughes at Mount Pleasant, Loretto at Wayne County, Westmoreland hosting Joe Burns, Colioca at Zion Christian. At 5:30 tonight, Glencliff at Murfreesboro Central Magnet. It is Columbia at DCA, Grundy County hosts Bledsoe County, Clarksville at Henry County, Dixon County at Summit, East Robertson at Trousdale County. At 6, Laverne at Centennial, Green Hill welcomes Gordonsville. Coffee County will be at Mount Juliet. Marshall County hosts Spring Hill Blackman at Page. Also, Stewart's Creek welcomes Eagleville, and Lincoln County travels east to Franklin County for a 7 o'clock first pitch in softball. On the pitch today, 5 o'clock, first touch, Valor Collegiate at Spring Hill. At 6, Colioca at Zion Christian. Lead Academy at East Robertson. Also, Loretto at Fayetteville. Laverne welcomes Lebanon. Station Camp at MBA at 7. Merrill Hyde will host Portland. Page is at Brentwood and White House at Centennial. NAIA Baseball, Cumberland at Bryan today. And in the majors, the Braves, 6:20, first pitch hosting the Nationals. That on Bally Sports South. And that is your Monday Rundown, brought to you by Zion Christian. Check them out at
ZCA Eagles.
Thank you very much. .org.
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 Is it ZCA Eagles or is it Zion
No,
Eagles?
it is Zion Eagles.
ZionEagles.org.
Okay.
Yeah.
Zion Eagles.
Let's not be sending folks to the wrong website. Hey, let me ask you something. How did we decide on that Lyon as Leon?
We didn't.
I think we did. I just went with it. I like Leon better than Lion. If it was Lion, it'd be L-I. That's what I'm going with, right?
Well, here's the thing. If they got a problem with it, they can call us.
They can call us. That's right. Email mpatton at...
For the record, the Gallatin soccer match was 3-1. They lost 3-1 to Bearden, I think.
You were close with that dash, straight up dash. Could have been a 1. Yeah.
Look, when I'm going through all this stuff and trying to get the formatting right for your crawler, it does sometimes I erase numbers on occasion.
Sorry, you're doing yeoman's work.
We also have random games from Bledsoe County and Grundy County in there, Lincoln County and Franklin County, and I was like, I don't know how they got in there, but sure, whatever.
Yeah.
If you're listening in Franklin County still, we appreciate it.
You're making an effort to find us, and yes, we do thank you for that.
Oh man, let's take a break because we got Doug Feinberg coming up to talk about the WNBA draft tonight. Will Ryan Howard be number 1? Sounds like she will be, but we'll get his thoughts and much more on that WNBA draft after these messages on Main Street Sports Day, presented by Mid Tennessee Bone & Joint. Back after this. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50-plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, ZionEagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's ZionEagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
Are you an enthusiastic sports fan? Want to have fun and get in on the action?
Heck, yes, that'd be awesome.
Have great attention to detail? Want to stay active?
Definitely.
Want to give back to the student athletes in your community?
Obviously, yes.
Then you'd make an excellent high school sports official. We need more officials in Tennessee, because with no high school officials, there are no high school sports. Sign up today at highschoolofficials.com.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Maury County schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net. Welcome back in. It is Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us here as we react to some sports throughout the weekend, throughout the show. But in this particular segment, Mo, we get a chance to preview something coming up tonight, and that is the WNBA draft.
So we're not reacting, we are proacting.
We are.
Yeah. Joining us here on Main Street Sports today is Doug Feinberg, who covers women's basketball at all levels for the Associated Press, both college and pro. And Doug wanted to reach out to you to try to get a little insight into tonight's WNBA draft. We're kind of looking at it with some interest because a player who's kind of near and dear to our hearts, despite where she played her college ball, Ryan Howard, number one or no?
Fellas, thanks for having me on, first off. And I don't think you're going to have to wait long for her to get drafted. I think number one is where she's going to go, to Atlanta. I've had some people who are smarter than I am in this business tell me, hey, she's not going to be on the draft board very long. Atlanta traded up to get the number one pick. I've heard from some insiders they think that Howard's probably the second best player of the draft from last year, this year, and next year. And that leaves Aaliyah Boston as the player is probably going to be better than her in the pros. So if you can get the next best player who's available right now out of those three drafts, you take her, and that's Ryan Howard.
Now, there was some talk earlier that Nalissa, and I lost her last name, Nalissa Smith. Yeah. From Baylor might be the number one. Is Ryan the number one because that's the biggest position of need for Atlanta, who traded up to get her, or do you feel like she would have been the number one regardless?
You know, it's weird because Washington, which had the number one pick, really didn't need much. They lucked into the number one pick because they had so many players hurt last year, and they have a team that's contending for championships. So whoever went there, whether it was Nalissa or Ryan, was probably not going to play much their first year, the rookie year. So it actually probably worked out better for both Nalissa and Ryan that they made that trade. So Nalissa's a great player. I'm not taking anything away from her. I think for what Atlanta needs, Ryan fits better, and they can build the franchise around her a little easier. So I think Ryan goes first, and I think Melissa goes second to Indiana, which has 4 of the 12 picks in the first round. So they're basically going to be rebuilding their team with the first round picks this year.
Goodness gracious. You don't hear of that in any sport, 4 of the top 12 picks.
That's something.
Yeah. And also, I guess, Doug, there's a little bit of a local flavor for Atlanta in getting Ryan Howard. She grew up just up I-75 from Atlanta in Cleveland, Tennessee, just outside of Chattanooga. So as close as she's going to come to getting home in the WNBA, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you just educated me with good geography because I'm not my southern geography is not great being a New York kid, born and raised. So that's good to know. I mean, she's going to be a nice fit for them. She's definitely a scorer. She can score at all 3 levels. I mean, score from inside, mid-range jumper in the 3, which is very important for any basketball player, man or woman. And being home is a nice thing. I mean, sometimes players are better off if they go far away from home in some instances. I don't think that's the case with Ryan. I think she's going to be a nice piece for Atlanta to build around this year and build for the future because that's a franchise that has only had one other number 1 pick in its history, and that was Angel McCutchery in 2009, and she had a great career for them, led them to the finals 3 times, I believe. So if Ryan can have almost as good a career as Angel had, because I don't want to put any pressure on her right now, that's going to be a pretty good thing for Atlanta.
Yeah, no pressure. Ryan Howard, Angel McCoughtry. Yeah. Nice job there.
Sorry for the pressure, right?
Yeah, right. Doug Feinberg of the Associated Press with us here on Main Street Sports today. Doug, you see Nalissa going number 2 to Indiana. Behind that, there is a mock draft up on The Athletic that's got Shakira Austin, the 6'5" post from Ole Miss, going number 3 to Washington. You mentioned Washington doesn't need a whole lot, but and I have to beg a little interest because I was not aware of Austin until the SEC tournament, and at that point it's like, where have I been all your life? She looks like, as Bobby Johnson at Vanderbilt used to say, a ready-made pro.
She is. I saw her yesterday. They had an event in New York City where they sort of took over a park, and all the WNBA draftees they invited, all dozen of them, came here. It's the first time I'd seen Shakira up close and personal. She's definitely WNBA ready as far as body type goes. I mean, she's a big kid. She's talented. She's going to be helping a team out. And again, going to Washington, there isn't the pressure on her. We just talked about pressure on Ryan Howard. Shakira can learn from some of the best in the game. One of the best coaches in the game, Mike Tebow, ever. And then you have Elena Deladon, Alicia Clark, Maisha Hines-Allen. I mean, there's some really talented players on that Washington team that there isn't, hey, Shakira, we need you to go play 25 minutes a game, score 15 points a game for us to be successful. So if she can learn from some really good players and sort of learn what it's like to be a pro, I think that's going to help her in the long run and help Washington.
Doug, when we kind of obviously take some interest here in women's sports, it's clearly women's basketball with the University of Tennessee and the Lady Vols, and Ray Burrell coming out at the small forward position, 6'1". She's got to fit somewhere. Does she have an opportunity to sneak into the first round, or is she likely going to end up being a second-round pick?
I think she'll go in the first round. I mean, she had an injury-plagued senior year, if I remember correctly, which didn't help her draft status. But when she came back, she was pretty good, and she was great before that. In her whole career, she was pretty good. So I think I saw some mock drafts have her going to Dallas with the 7 pick, which might be a nice fit for her. I would be fairly confident, say that if we're going percentages,4 say 75 to 80% chance she's drafted in the first round. I think in that mid 7, 8, 9 range. I mean, as I said, Indiana's controls the draft with 4 of the 12 picks, so they could definitely use her. And there was a trade yesterday. Minnesota traded its 2 picks to the Las Vegas Aces. So 2 teams have 6 picks in the first round, which is good if you're those 2 teams. But if you're a fan of the league, it's kind of like, well, my team doesn't draft in the first round anymore, so what's my interest for it? But I think Ray Burrell is going to be somebody that's going to fit nicely in Dallas if she goes there, or whoever gets her will be lucky enough to have a player who I think can be an impact player for a team, a 10 to 15-minute player down the road who will bring good things to a franchise.
Again, this mock draft by Chantel Jennings of The Athletic, which dropped on April 6th, so obviously it doesn't reflect some of these trades, but it's got Ray going at number 11 to Vegas, which I don't know if they have that pick at this point or not, but that's That's kind of where she was projected.
What I was looking at is that was updated at 137 today. Less than an hour ago has her going 13th overall to Vegas, but I certainly could be earlier than that. One of the names that that I thought was kind of right in Ray Burrell's kind of her direct competition is Becky Hammond, Mid-Major Player of the Year from Florida Gulf Coast, Kirsten Bell. And if you can pick one of those two, based off of Ray's injury history, Bell seems to be the safer pick. Would that be accurate, Doug?
Yeah, I mean, Bell actually transferred from Ohio State. She went to Ohio State as a freshman, then transferred down to Florida Gulf Coast. So she was a big-time player, so to speak, at a Power 5 university. Transferred down to Gulf Coast, had a great career there. Obviously, Gulf Coast won the first-round tournament game this past year. She, I think, was top 2 or 3 in the nation scoring. She shoots the three very well. Again, that thing I was talking about, the event they had yesterday was in a park. She was shooting half-court shots in the park with form, not just throwing it up there hoping it was going in. It was pretty good form. It kept on bouncing off the front rim until she finally hit one. But she is a great player, electric, can score. And Becky Hammond was a heck of a player. And if she does get to go to Las Vegas, where now Becky's the coach, I think that would help Kirsten very well.
I think it's going to be interesting to watch her transition into the pro game just for what they did at Gulf Coast. Very heavy, three-point shooting offense, very perimeter oriented, to be in a real offense with a post player and everything. Just watching her transition, I think, will be what's the word I'm looking for? Interesting, for lack of a better word. Fascinating. Just see how she fits in, I think.
Doug, one of the other things that we definitely would be remiss if we didn't talk about was, Destiny Henderson at South Carolina is one of the most electrifying players that we saw playing at any level, especially in the Southeastern Conference in the last few years. She is going to be a really good pickup for somebody. And, again, like you said, I'm sure that her teammate from this past year will be high on the board next year, but Destiny would be a steal for somebody.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, she had a heck of a run in the NCAA tournament. She had the career high in the championship game, so she played her best game at the brightest stage, which I'm sure coaches and GMs noticed the WNBA. She doesn't shy away from the spotlight. Great personality, great defender, steals the ball very well, can score. I think, as you said, anyone's be lucky to get her. I mean, I'm not sure where she'll go. I would think late in the first round is my guess. The only knock is probably her size, but there have been players that have been smaller guards, we'll call it, have flourished. I mean, Crystal Dangerfield was the rookie of the year for Minnesota a couple years ago, and they're probably comparable sized. So that might be the only knock against her, but she's a great player. Obviously, Dawn Staley, her coach, played in the WNBA, knows the WNBA, what it takes to be there. And I think she'll be pretty good for whoever is lucky enough to get her in the draft tonight.
36 picks. You can watch the WNBA draft on ESPN app, I guess. I'm not sure if it's going to be. I don't think it's
on ESPN.
It is?
It is.
Okay, that's
7 o'clock tonight, ESPN.
I'm glad to hear that, because I was not expecting it to be. ESPN tonight, but WNBA draft, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Make sure to keep an eye out for Ray Burrell and any other Lady Vols that might sneak in. Who knows? You never know. There's 36 picks. Anyway, but Doug Feinberg here with us from the Associated Press. Doug, we appreciate your time. Thank you so much for your insight, because we were a little uneducated when it comes to the best players for the WNBA.
My pleasure, guys. And you knew the first name, Ryan Howard, right? That's the big name to know. Number one. Always know that, right?
We felt like that was a good starting point, if nothing else. So,
sure wish Holly Warlick would have known it. Sorry. I'm just going to keep taking that pot shot every time I can, Doug.
Yeah.
Yeah. Doug, thank you, man. We appreciate it.
All right, guys. Have a good rest of your day.
All right. Let's that's a shot that's just, I'm sorry.
It's
you have,
as JP would say, it's kind of low hanging fruit.
You're going to have to own that. I'm just saying. Anyway.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on and talk about. Let's react to some things that did happen over the weekend. The Masters, the Lakers, our top story from today, and get into that in the next segment. So stick around. Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid Tennessee Bone and Joint, comes back after this. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50-plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, ZionEagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's ZionEagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
A game without a crowd is just a scrimmage. A performance without an audience is just a rehearsal. Without your presence, high school sports and the performing arts aren't possible. Ensure that these essential extracurricular activities continue to enrich the lives of students in Tennessee. Purchase a ticket to your local high school's game or performance.
This message presented by the TSSAA.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Maury County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
Welcome in, everybody, to another fantastic edition of Mornings on Main Street. Fun show planned for today. Please tell me you know who this is.
Of course I know who it is. I mean, I just want you, let's say it together.
You have no idea, do you?
Your car broke down, you're walking.
That's true.
Hey,
Is this thing on?
Hold on a second, Chris. Hey, what did I tell you about comedy?
Right. Let's do comedy. Make sure that's funny.
It gotta be funny. I figure it's easier. It's harder for you to say no if we do this live.
I'm still waiting to meet you with the crystal, so I'll take anything.
We'll get it all done there. Thank you. As the voice of the crowd will be me as Bob Hope, and has that cute well with the pearl necklace is...
So I'm going to be Russell Brand, and I just want to go ahead and give a preface of it might be really annoying. So
Okay.
All right.
It's preface.
Preface.
Preface is what happens when your girlfriend's going out on the town, and you're like, hey, get ready. Say, I put my face on. Grilled ground lamb and beef wrapped in lavish and topped with a savory tomato
It's
sauce.
lavash.
What is that?
Lavash.
I told you, you're dealing with the redneck country boy on this side over here of the screen.
That's okay.
Welcome back into Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Chris Yao, Mo Patton, JP Plant on the controls, and we are trying to stay dry on this Monday.
So far, so good.
Well,
But we are inside.
In the next segment, I will we'll talk about those outlet malls that I visited, and I procured a rain jacket, so that's good. at said outlet mall. So, didn't wear it today because I couldn't find it. We brought everything in last night, and I just kind of let it go, and Sarah moved stuff around, and she was asleep when I left. Anyway.
Did you hear that, Mo? Blaming Sarah for that?
I mean, she normally does that. Like, she gets everything. I get it to the house. She puts it where it goes. Well, we don't have anywhere for me to hang my rain jackets because I've never had a rain jacket before. So,
Okay. Well, have you found a place for it yet?
I'm sure she did.
Okay.
I don't know where it is.
So hopefully she'll tell you where that place is when you get home.
At some point. Let's hope. She probably just put it in the bag and just, but she was asleep when I left, and I was like, I don't have time to wake you up. So
Maybe she could put a towel hanging with it so you can wipe yourself after getting rained on by not having your jacket today.
Listen,
Maybe.
I have been rained on for the last 6 or 7 years. I haven't had a rain jacket since, I guess, 2017.
Yep.
I left it somewhere and just never bought another one because they're expensive. And if it hadn't been an outlet mall, I probably wouldn't have bought one. Anyway. So.
Rain jackets.
Rain jackets.
That's what we're talking about now.
On my way home from.
They had rain at the Masters, so.
On my way home from Atlanta, we stopped at the Woodstock outlet malls.
Don't give away your halftime content.
And we stopped at Buc-ee's in Calhoun. Well, guess who? Tons of Masters folks were making their way.
I was going
from
to say,
Augusta
was Ryan
North.
McGee there?
You know what? I didn't see him, but I did catch the UT softball bus. So the UT softball team had stopped at Buc-ee's, and
Did they remember you from the Mid-State Classic?
you know, if I had found Anna Fox, they probably would have, but I did not.
Well, that's a pretty big Buc-ee's. It's easy to not find people.
Well, all Buc-ee's are, yeah.
Well,
I had to circle the thing 3 times just to find a dadgum gas tank. But you know what I paid? I paid $3.39 for gas.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
did you bring any back?
Yeah.
I should have just filled up a couple buckets.
No kidding. Take some tanks down there with you next time you go to Georgia.
Right.
Yeah, it was only $60 to fill up the truck instead of
Wow.
$70.
Yeah.
Saved me $10.
$10 is $10.
Well, it paid for my barbecue sandwiches.
I'll say a hot dog at least. Not a beer, but a hot dog.
Got a couple of barbecue sandwiches, and but seriously, it was interesting because there were a lot of folks with Masters gear on at the Buc-ee's. So all of those folks getting a chance to see the number 1 player in the world, and the number 1 player in the world did what the number 1 player is supposed to do, and that's win.
Did not realize, not a shock because I'm not the biggest golf fan there is, but this was his 4th win in 6 starts this season.
Yeah,
It's been hot.
he's pretty good, man.
Guess that's how you get to be the number 1 player on the tour.
Yeah, I mean, the more you win, the higher you go. That's how, especially in golf. I mean, winning is not easy to do. So, you know, you just finish top 5, top 10, top 15 consistently, and
You're pretty good.
you might shoot to number 1 until, you know, Scotty Scheffler shows up and doesn't lose.
And wins 4 and 6.
So,
25.
young kid, really, really good. You know, at which, I mean, it's not the first time we've seen a youngster. You know, Jordan Spieth took the tour by storm a couple of years ago, but I thought it was interesting that obviously the 2 big storylines of the weekend we had talked about with Virgil Herring last Monday on this show. And, you know, we bring folks on this show in order to give you some expert insight. If you listened to Virgil Herring on our show
Last Monday,
you didn't even need to watch the Masters because he nailed it. He said, 1, Tiger, if he plays, is probably going to be tired if he makes the cut on Saturday and Sunday, and his play is going to struggle.
But he thought he would make the cut.
But he did think he'd make the
He
cut.
thought he would play, and he thought he would make the cut.
he did play. He did make the cut.
And
And
he
he
got
did
tired.
struggle in the last 2 rounds.
So nailed that. especially with, again, the ground being soft. It's a long walk. It's a lot. He also said that the second storyline in the event that Tiger wasn't in the hunt would be if Rory McIlroy could complete the career Grand Slam. He said if he was going to complete it, though, he'd probably back in to the green jacket instead of winning it. And boy, did Rory roar on Sunday.
Came out of nowhere, as Virgil had kind of intimated that he would need to, not being out front, kind of lagging behind and making a run late. And what did he shoot? 7 under 64 yesterday?
Yesterday was
8 under 64.
8 under 64.
Or 72.
64,
Yep.
Yeah, he was
a hell of a final round.
I mean,
if Scheffler hadn't run off and hid from everybody,
yeah,
then you've got a race on Sunday. But it was just too
Scheffler
much
was
for
so
McIlroy.
good.
Just too much for McIlroy to overcome on Sunday, but it wasn't from a lack of trying.
Yeah, Rory got to within 2. He got to within 2 when Scheffler was, I believe, finishing up 13. So at that point,
yeah. So Scheffler had a 4-shot lead going into the back 9.
Yep.
Then after 13, Scheffler has kind of, struggled a little bit.
And Roy kept coming.
Well, Rory was done.
Yeah.
By the time he hit the back, you're right.
Yeah, he had already put up that 64.
Rory put the 64 up. By the time that he gets to the back 9, boom.
Holding it out of the bunker in 18, too, by the way. Whew.
Right.
And Morikawa in the same group did the same thing, by the way.
It's unreal. But, you're watching this from the clubhouse going, all right, I'm leader in the clubhouse. I'm watching this guy, and all he has to do is choke.
Yeah. One ball in the water. At that point, like I made the comment to my dad. Yeah, I said we're one shot in the water away from this being a tournament here.
And here's the thing, is that everybody knows it, including Scheffler, that Rory can't do any worse.
Yeah,
he can't do any better, but he also can't do any worse. So you have to play good golf. You don't have to be great. Just don't do anything crazy, right? And he didn't do anything crazy.
Yep.
Man, congratulations to Scotty Scheffler.
It was fun to watch.
It was.
It always is, but it was good to see the patrons back in full force.
And they were.
Oh. And Tiger had a lot to do with that.
Oh, there's no question there. Frank Vogel out after 3 seasons with the Los Angeles Lakers, the LeBron James Lakers, and Anthony Davis.
The LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Russell Westbrook,
and Carmelo
Lakers. Yeah.
What a terrible season. If you're a Lakers fan, you got to be going, how? Like a squirrel could lead this team to the playoffs. And yet.
Now, having said that, as I'm looking at the article on ESPN regarding Vogel's dismissal, Lakers were the only team to not have a single 5-man lineup play 100 minutes together. Despite entering the season with high expectations, the Lakers were only able to have James, Davis, and Westbrook on the floor together for 21 games. And they played 500 ball in those 21 games, 11 and 10.
Westbrook, who, by the way, made 183 jump shots this year. He turned the ball over 225 times.
Oh, God.
You cannot turn the ball over 42 more times than you make jump shots and expect to be a successful point guard in this league. So that's the key stat right there. And I don't know how Frank Vogel was supposed to do anything about that.
Sounds a lot like a Rick Barnes conversation we had a couple of weeks ago.
I mean, there's that. So anyway, Vogel's out. Apparently they're looking to the medical field to hire someone. Apparently they're looking at a nurse of some sort. I don't know.
I'll give you one ding.
Thank you.
You want to clear that up, though?
Nick Nurse is being courted by the Lakers as their next head coach. We'll see how that.
Still at Toronto?
Yes. but we'll see how that goes.
So he's not exactly available for the Lakers.
Toronto, LA, yeah, but I mean, really in the NBA, it's not like you can
Contracts
just say,
don't mean anything. Huh?
Well, I mean, you can just say, hey guys, look,
I'm out.
we're gonna wait on him. Well, if he says no, we'll come back to y'all later. I mean, anyway, let's take a break. It is halftime, so stick around. Main Street Sports Today. We'll be back after this. This is Chris Yao with Main Street Sports Today. Every show, Mo Patton and I welcome friends from all across the sports landscape, from high school coaches and reporters to national, college, and pro sports personalities. You never know who might stop by for a chat. AP Tennessee sports editor, three-time Tennessee Sports Writer of the Year 2020 TSSAA Hall of Famer. She covers the Titans, the Predators, the Grizzlies, college football, and hoops. Please make welcome Teresa Walker.
Former University of Tennessee, former Team USA Olympian, ex-Cy Young Award winner, R.A. Dickey. R.A., did I miss anything?
Man, that was sweet. Yeah, I need to listen to that before I go to bed every night. That was nice.
Has 5 sports Emmys. That's not bad for the other guy in Wham, Ryan McGee.
Other guy in Wham married the best looking girl, Bananarama, so other guy in Wham had a pretty good life.
From preps to pros, we're taking on the sports topics you care about. Tune in across Main Street Media social platforms at 2 p.m. or on demand on your podcast distribution platform of choice. Welcome back in. Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. It is halftime. We're going to talk about this the outlet malls that I visited this weekend. So listen, first of all, Woodstock, Georgia, not near anything.
Yeah, Woodstock is it's south of Calhoun, is that right, or is it north?
It is south of Calhoun.
Remember, it's between Atlanta and Calhoun.
Between
right?
Atlanta and Calhoun. It's north of Marietta just a little bit, because you got to get on 565 or 585.
Oh,
and just
that's right.
Go
That's
right.
So it's not on 75. Then.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, you had to veer off.
You got to get way off in the weeds. At about 8 miles, which, by the way, Sarah is angry the entire time we're driving. She's like, don't tell me it's 2 miles away. We're at exit 7 or we're at exit 8 and it's at exit 9. Is it not a mile? Is that not 1 mile? And I'm like, yes, it is. As a matter of fact. So I don't know. So anyway, she was just yelling about that the whole time.
Yeah.
But listen, we get to the outlet shops of Atlanta, which is probably 30 miles north of Atlanta for that matter.
Yeah.
Which, whatever.
Yeah, the Atlanta Braves in Marietta. I mean, it's...
Exactly. The Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim.
Mm-hmm.
But, so we park in the back, and we walk in, and it's a normal outdoor outlet mall, right? It's not, but here's the thing, is it's in kind of a circle. So, it's not... there's a building in the middle, and then there's several outside buildings, which is unusual. Typically, they built those in strips.
Mm-hmm.
They don't build them in strips anymore. So it's kind of nice because you just walk in a circle and you're done. It's not a lot of walking. But turn to the left, look up, and there's a roof. They have built, and
roof on the walkway, on
a secondary structure. Okay, so the top of the building, get the roof of the building, and then there's a little space, and then there's a slanted roof that goes to the middle. I don't understand.
So it's an outdoor mall, but it's not.
This is my...
Are they solar panels?
No. For what?
Well, for the obvious reasons, for solar panels, but they're not solar panels. It's just another roof.
It's a roof on top of an outdoor mall. Why are we trying to put outdoor malls indoors now?
so that people that don't have rain jackets don't get rained on.
Okay,
right.
so
they got to sell rain jackets.
But
I mean,
then you need to let people get wet.
There's ceiling fans on this thing, right?
Okay.
So, I get it. Look, don't get me wrong. Indoor malls, HVACs, and it costs money.
I was going to say, you don't have to heat and cool this place.
But you're in Atlanta. It's hot or it's really cold. So that takes half of your season out. I don't understand why we have roofs on an outdoor mall. Just be inside. Run the AC.
How many coat shops were there?
Like 3.
Shorts? You could buy shorts there too, right?
You can buy everything.
Yeah. You know, you get hot, you sell shorts. You get cold, go buy a jacket.
Oats.
I mean, that's essentially like, it was so weird. I was like, why are we? This doesn't make any sense. But you know, in the springtime and in the fall, great place to be because the weather was great. I mean,
Sunday was perfect.
We walked 6 miles on Sunday. 6 miles, over 13,000 steps.
All at the outlet mall?
No. Between walking from our parking spot to the game and walking around Truist Park.
Let's say how many trips around that circle did you make?
No, we only did the circle once, but it was interesting. It was a really good mall, but we had to come back out to go up north on 75 to get to Calhoun and Buc-ee's, which was worth the trip because y'all, their barbecue's really good. I hate to give Texas credit for that crap, but it's a good barbecue.
I didn't see a smoker when I pulled up, so you know.
I don't know where they're getting it, but it was good.
Okay.
And it had some bark on it.
I'll take your word for it.
So I don't know, man. Nonetheless, let's take a break. We'll get back and talk some Titans and Preds on the other side. So stick around. Main Street Sports Today returns after this.
Are you an enthusiastic sports fan? Want to have fun and get in on the action?
Heck yes, that'd be awesome.
Have great attention to detail? Want to stay active?
Definitely.
Want to give back to the student athletes in your community?
Obviously, yes.
Then you'd make an excellent high school sports official. We need more officials in Tennessee. Because with no high school officials, there are no high school sports. Sign up today at highschoolofficials.com.
Second half action here on Main Street Sports Today. Coming up, we'll chat with the Assistant Executive Director of the TSSAA, soon to be the Executive Director. Mark Reeves will be joining us. Also, it is Reaction Monday, this day in Braves history. Reaction to that series as well. First-hand account from one Chris Yao, who was in Hotlanta. And Titans and Preds conversation, NFL draft on the way, and the Preds in a playoff push. All that coming up. Second half now. Back to the Hall of Famer Mo Patton and the Sundrop Kid from Alabama, Chris Yao.
Yes, welcome back in Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Real quick, want to just mention that thank goodness the Preds lost in overtime yesterday because they remain 1 point ahead of Dallas for the first wild card spot right now because of that. So just, thank goodness for overtime points. We'll take the 1 point. We needed it. Other than that,
well, if you can't get the 2 points,
Preds are stinking. Which again, look, hey, the Panthers are phenomenal. I mean, they're probably as good as Colorado. Okay, they're the number 1 team in the East. They're really good. So I'm not really upset, but it's tough.
They're putting themselves in a precarious position, and it's not by losing to good teams.
Well, right. I mean, they should have beat Buffalo.
Mm-hmm.
You can't lose to Buffalo. And if you are going to lose to Buffalo, you need to beat Florida, kind of thing.
And you can't lose to San Jose, who's rolling in here tomorrow night with a 29-33-9 mark.
No, you got to beat which out there they roughed them up pretty good. So San Jose coming in here with a little chip on their shoulder,
a little blood on the water.
Nice. He didn't get the ding because JP's busy. He's trying to do something else. Sorry, you missed out on your ding. Hey, well, better late than never. But yeah,
story of my life.
So, real quick, we've got about 5 minutes in this segment. I want to talk about this because the last time that we had this on the show, it was not great.
It wasn't good. It was pretty bad,
and it wasn't your fault. It wasn't anybody's fault.
It was just bad. So let's try.
The world did not want us to talk about it at the time.
Yeah, and
perhaps
we forced
they
it.
do.
Yeah.
Because The Tennessee Titans have been named in Brian Flores' suit against the National Football League in regards to its hiring practices due to a hiring process in which Ray Horton, a former Titans defensive coordinator, was interviewed, and he says now that the interview was a sham because they were going to hire Mike Mularkey the entire time.
He says now it was a sham. No,
he did not say that at the time.
At the time, and we clumsily mentioned that the last time we talked about it. Paul Kuharsky, longtime Tennessee Titans beat writer at paulkuharsky.com, republished Ray Horton's reaction coming out of that interview and said that he felt good about the interview, appreciated the opportunity to interview for the position with Titans owner Amy Adams Strunk, and was, fairly complimentary of the process, even though he ultimately did not get the job. So a lot of people are wondering how from there to now did the process become a sham?
Well, and the answer lies in a podcast that Mike Mularkey basically said as much. He basically said, look, they told me in 2016 I'm the head coach, and they hadn't gone through the entire interview process to get through with the Rooney Rule, and if you don't know what the Rooney Rule is, it requires that all NFL teams interview at least one minority candidate for their head coaching openings. Now, basically what they said was, this is a quote from Mularkey, I sat there knowing I was the head coach. I was their head coach in sitting in 2016, and they went through this fake hiring process, knowing a lot of coaches they were interviewing, knowing how much they prepared to go through those interviews, knowing that they were doing everything they could do, and they had no chance of getting that job. Now,
so even if Ray Horton doesn't call it a sham, Mike Mularkey is calling it a sham. So now what?
Here's the real question, and it's probably way too long of an answer for 2 minutes. But what is more of a sham? Is going through the process knowing you have a coach, or being forced to go through the process knowing you have a coach?
The whole process as it currently sits is egregious. I mean, if you don't, I just don't know if you should be able to force a team to interview people that they know they're not going to hire.
Because again,
you're wasting your time, you're wasting their time. What's the point?
This is my thing. And I understand where it comes from. I understand the idea behind it, but in practice, it's just not, it doesn't work, because it doesn't matter if they interview these people or not. They're not getting the job.
If they're not going to be open-minded about the process, and I guess Mike Tomlin was the exception with the Pittsburgh Steelers, because that ownership group had an open mind going into the hiring process, and they were open to being swayed in their interview process.
There's a difference, though, in that Bill Cowher retired. So it wasn't like the Steelers fired somebody and didn't know who they were going to hire, right? In most cases, NFL teams are firing somebody with an idea already of who they're going to hire, whether they're black, white, green, or purple. They know who it's going to be. So there's a difference between hiring someone after a retirement and hiring someone after a firing, I think, in the mentality of an ownership group. Mm-hmm. Because you've said it, I've said it. If you're going to fire somebody, you better know who you're going to hire.
Gotta have a pretty good idea.
And so I just don't think that it's a great process. It needs some work, and there need to be some more open minds.
And only one of those can you address.
There you go. Anyway, there's a lot that goes into this, and I'm curious to see how it's going to play out. This lawsuit certainly has more legs than it did.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, let's take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk to the future executive director of the TSSAA, but current assistant executive director, Mark Reeves, on Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Back after this. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50-plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, ZionEagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's ZionEagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
Are you an enthusiastic sports fan? Want to have fun and get in on the action?
Heck yes, that'd be awesome.
Have great attention to detail? Want to stay active?
Definitely.
Want to give back to the student athletes in your community?
Obviously, yes.
Then you'd make an excellent high school sports official. We need more officials in Tennessee. Because with no high school officials, there are no high school sports. Sign up today at highschoolofficials.com.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net. Welcome back in Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Chris Yao, Mo Patton, JP Plant on the controls, and we are coming to you from Columbia, Tennessee, reaching across Middle Tennessee and beyond. Looking forward to the future in this segment. Not reacting again. Well, kind of reacting, I guess. Reacting to the news that TSSAA Executive Director Bernard Childress announced his retirement last week, and darn near immediately, the question was answered: who would fill his shoes? Well, Mark Reeves gets to try, and the former Springfield wrestling coach will take the position later this year. But for now, he joins us on the show. Mark, welcome in. Thanks for joining us, man.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys.
Former Springfield wrestling coach is how I choose to refer to it. That's just one of a number of hats that Mark Reeves has worn. He was also assistant principal at Springfield at East. Mark, is that right?
Both, actually. Yeah. So started my administrative career a little bit unexpectedly. At Springfield High School, we had an assistant principal that left in the middle of the year, and myself and John Offit, who was one of the assistant football coaches at the time, split that position, and I became full-time the year after that. Spent a couple of years in that role before spending my last 2 years in administration at East Robertson High School. That was prior to TSSAA.
Splitting anything with John Offit had to be an experience.
Yeah, of course.
Mark, the way things transpired Wednesday, and you and I talked earlier in the week, and you gave me nothing, and thank you for that. But one, I feel like everybody kind of knew what was coming, but two, did you feel like the who's next question was going to get answered that quickly?
Honestly, I don't know. I think we all try to prepare ourselves for everything. But the board could have done whatever it wanted to do, which could include opening that up, bringing somebody in from outside. Um, we see these things happen across the country, and they're handled a number of different ways. So I wasn't really sure what to expect either going into that meeting on that day.
So there had been no pre-conversation. Hey, if asked, will you accept, or or anything like that? Then,
well, not by board members, no, not at all. But we all think of those hypotheticals, and I know, I know, I know. I know there are those. I know Mr. Childress. I know that the history of the association is to stay, in house, and I know that Mr. Childress had confidence in the staff that we have now. Um, so in my mind, I think we were all thinking that his recommendation would probably be to stay in house as opposed to going outside. Um, so going into that meeting, I think we all were prepared for what ifs, and um, that's what came to fruition. It was a bit of a shock the way it all went down, but I'm just humbled and honored just to have an opportunity to try to follow in the path of some giants. It's been an incredible experience working for um, for Bernard and prior to him with Mr. Carter, and just going back to the history of the association with Mr. Bridges and Mr. Gideon, and um, it's incredibly humbling and a bit intimidating, uh, but very exciting, because I love this organization. I love the work that we are all entrenched in. I love education. I love educational athletics. I believe it's one of the most influential platforms anyone can have in the lives of young people. And so when you're looking for, ways in which you can make an impact, on this world, folks who are in the business, administrators, teachers, coaches, it's hard to beat that. And to just to be mentioned in the same sentence with some of those who have led that work is quite humbling.
Mo, it's a good thing he was willing, because it was unanimous that he was going to be the guy.
yeah, that would have been one heck
Awkward.
one mell of a Hess, as you like to say. Hess, he said, I'm not so sure about this.
I'm not so sure about this.
After they voted 12-0 for him. Yeah. Speaking with TSSAA Assistant Executive Director until June 30th, Mark Reeves, who on July 1st will become the 5th Executive Director of the Tennessee Secondary Schools Athletic Association, as he mentioned. And you kind of stole my question from me, Mark, about, the legacy of A.F. Bridges, Gil Gideon, Ronnie Carter, Bernard Childress. So I'm going to try to take it in a different direction. Your friend and mine, Stephen Bargetzi, made the comment during that Board of Control meeting that the only thing that's going to change with Mark is the name on the affidavit when we get sued. Ronnie Carter had his Brentwood Academy. Bernard had his Memphis East. Bernard's dealt with a global pandemic. I mean, you got to feel like surely things are going to be a little bit easier for me than they were for the last two guys.
Well, if history is a good indicator, and what I've learned over the course of my life is it usually is that no, it probably won't get a whole lot easier. There'll be different things that none of us have thought about that rise, to the surface. But that going in. But I think the beauty of this work is you're not in it alone. None of us are in it alone. We we just represent, in this case, almost 900 member schools when you look at high schools and middle schools, and we're 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 simply the voice of that organization, and that collective wisdom and the collective good that those 900 member schools are doing. You've heard it said for so many years. We just try to do the right thing, and that's what we'll continue to do, and that's what I intend to do as the next executive director. I've got the wise counsel of a lot of folks around me. We have an incredible staff, and as I said, administrators and coaches all over the state who believe in that same cause, and we'll be able to handle whatever comes at us.
We know there's been a lot of talk, obviously, that the championships have been here, there, and everywhere in the last couple of years because of the pandemic and that sort of thing. Is, when the TSSAA is most involved is in that bid process. So, is there anything that you would like to see different in the next few years, or are you just hoping that that you guys can just kind of make sure that everybody is in a good spot, whether it be Chattanooga, Cookeville, or Murfreesboro, or Chattanooga, or Williamson County Ag Center? Is that kind of your focus, is still just kind of making sure the athletes get the best they can possibly get?
That's absolutely the focus. One of the integral parts of what we do is to try to provide the best championship experience that we can for those kids who have worked so hard. And wherever that experience may be, is certainly something that we're interested in. We've had a number of wonderful partners over the years, in a lot of different parts of the state, and some of those, the way they have evolved, the way those events have evolved, and the way people have been connected together to take those events to the next level are some, in a lot of cases, unforeseen. You stumble into things. The timing of the way things come together sometimes are things, are just, I guess you can't plan for it. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. And but I think what the organization has done as a whole for so long is we've taken those opportunities that have arisen and tried to maximize those with partners across the state, and the communities that have embraced those events have just done an incredible job in taking them to the next level. So yeah, as we move forward, you can certainly see across the country where state associations are taking on more sports, more activities. I could certainly see that coming down the pipes in the future. And as we do that, when we're planning out what that looks like, you got to start at your championship. Where's it going to be? Who can host it, and work backwards to make it all work. So there very well could be some tweaks and some evolution in the way some of that's done. But that's exciting. That's a fun part of the work.
Mark Reeves with the TSSAA with us here on Main Street Sports today. Mark, at a legislative council meeting prior to this Board of Control meeting, a proposal to sanction boys and girls lacrosse, I believe, was tabled. You've got girls flag football kind of being tested in Williamson County as a pilot program that you all are, I guess, keeping an eye on, monitoring to a large degree. What do you see as the next moves for the TSSAA in terms of, maybe adding sports, maybe not, but, just trying to increase athletic participation at the high school level?
So we're always looking for those opportunities, and most of the time, just like with lacrosse and girls flag football, those opportunities or those conversations start with the membership. The schools themselves, those 900 schools, are in our ear about what they would like to see, and for lacrosse, for example, and being the most recent. We had a number of schools that came to us and said, "Hey, what does it take? We think we're ready to take that next step. We've got 50 plus schools, et cetera. And so the first time the council took a look at that and approved it, and then retracted that approval. That was done to try to make sure that we weren't taking away participation, without taking you down to the weeds of how all that went down. But it's the schools and the membership that have taken that roadmap that the council kind of laid out when they retracted the sanctioning, and they have aligned themselves to come into compliance with what they would have to do in order to be approved by TSSAA. So it's the evolution from the schools, the organization from the schools. Girls flag football, you kind of see that same kind of evolution taking place in the Williamson County area, but we're already starting to get inquiries from other parts of the state, about girls flag football. Girls wrestling was the same way. That was initiated, the interest by the schools themselves, and you kind of see how that expanded in its interest and evolved into what it is today. So it's kind of an organic process, but normally and rightfully is initiated by the schools.
And I know, as with wrestling being one of the two sports that you kind of oversee along with soccer in your current role, I know that the girls dual wrestling championships that were sanctioned this year for the first time it's been sanctioned nationally by a state high school association, was something that you felt pretty good about.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you, personally, that was incredible to watch. Maurice, wrestling's near and dear to my heart. It's a big part of my DNA, and the reason I'm sitting in this chair, and the reason why I've been in education for nearly 25 years. It's a big part of that. And, to see the team part, that the team championship come to fruition with girls wrestling, the team concept for wrestling sometimes is set aside. It can get forgotten because we crown individual champions. But even in those individual sports, whether it's wrestling or cross country or golf or tennis, there's those team attributes that come to the table. That's why we do what we do. That's why the kids play what they play, is because they enjoy doing it and they enjoy the relationships that come along with it. So yeah, I can say, for Tennessee to be the first state to have that team wrestling championship on the girls' side, that was pretty special.
It certainly is special, and looking forward to a special run as executive director. Mark, we are excited about working with you. We appreciate you taking some time with us today. We look forward to many more conversations in the future about all the things that will certainly come up in your tenure as director.
Well, I can't say enough about how much we appreciate you all, shedding some light and bringing some attention to these kids and these programs and the work that they're doing. So thank you guys, and I appreciate you having me.
It is certainly our pleasure to do that. That is our number one goal, as it is yours, is to make sure the kids have as much recognition as possible. All right, when we come back, we're going to talk, it's Atlanta Braves time. We said we'd talk about them every day, so here we are. We will come back and give you this day in Braves history and preview the Nationals series as they get ready to first pitch tonight. So we'll be right back. Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint, comes back after this. Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50-plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, ZionEagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's ZionEagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
A game without a crowd is just a scrimmage. A performance without an audience is just a rehearsal. Without your presence, high school sports and the performing arts aren't possible. Ensure that these essential extracurricular activities continue to enrich the lives of students in Tennessee. Purchase a ticket to your local high school's game or performance.
This message presented by the TSSAA.
Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net. We'll talk tomorrow about college baseball with Chris Lee here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint. We'll ask him about the finger poke, the home plate poke.
Here's what's funny. I've not seen that home plate poke, but I saw one on TikTok, I think, a couple of weeks ago. And yeah, it was some youth league kid come running in, and he double tapped it.
Ooh. Boop, boop. Yeah, you gotta make sure you like it.
Yeah, he boop, boop.
I love it. That's so good.
I sent it to my son, and I'm like, this reminds me of something you would have done if you had thought to do it. You know, and I don't.
There are stickers now.
Yeah.
Of the poke. Wow. It's ridiculous, man. This Tennessee team is.
They are
something.
They really are. I mean, and here's the thing about them. There's no, they all right.
Nope. It's one way or the other. You love them,
and
you
it's
hate them, you love to hate them.
Extremes. Yep. There's no middle ground with this UT team. So we'll talk more about that with Chris Lee.
Yes, we will.
Should be fun.
As a matter of fact, we will, in fact, yes. But right now we're going to talk about the Atlanta Braves
who are currently occupying the middle ground at 2-2.
Yeah, and that's it's certainly not what you expected, knowing that you had Max Fried, Charlie Morton, Kyle Wright, and Ian Anderson going up against a bunch of really nobodies. And Hunter Green, who made his, now granted, Hunter Green was dominant yesterday. Dude was throwing 100 for like the entire game. Okay. Dude was great. But I mean, a bunch of virtual nobodies, and you get one. Not only the two wins you got, both of them were kind of heart pounding because Kenley Jansen gives up 3 runs in his 9th inning appearance. Will Smith, of course, gives up a run in his 9th inning.
The Will Smith experience, part 2.
And to me, it just feels like it feels like this team is still filling each other out, and that's okay.
Well, I think the short spring training probably has something to do with that. I think the turnover had something to do with that. I think Cincinnati may be better than we realized.
Offensively, I think they definitely are. Pitching wise, I mean, I really expected them to be not good at all, and they were really good. But again, here's the thing. We all know this, especially in the major leagues. When you don't know a lot about a pitcher, they typically have the advantage. So Cincinnati pitchers had quite a bit of an advantage because
nobody's seen them.
Nobody knew anything about them. So great job by Cincinnati, by the way, of doing what they do. And Atlanta didn't get it done over the weekend. Again, like I told you off the air, if the call goes differently in the third inning and it's 2-0 instead of 5-0 at first base,
you may get a different ball game.
You never know, but it didn't, and that's okay.
I refuse to panic over sitting at 2-2
Sure.
after 4 games,
especially considering where we were last year and the fact that Ronald Acuna is not in the lineup. Once Ronald Acuna gets in the lineup, and I never have to hear Iron Man for a designated hitter's walk-up music like I did for Alex Dickerson yesterday 3 times. I don't. Anyway, Alex Dickerson has no business being a designated hitter. I just want to throw that out there. We would have been better off with Manny Pena as designated hitter.
Or not any worse.
Or Max Fried, for that matter. But anyway, Braves have to get back on track. And here's the thing: division games now. You've got 3 division games coming up, 3 games against the Nationals to finish out Champions Week. And tonight they're going to hand out 40,000 replica rings, and I will not be among those 40,000, unfortunately, even though I almost was.
Not due to lack of trying.
Listen, I pitched my case pretty hard.
I'm really surprised that you are here.
And yet you ended up at the outlet malls.
Yeah.
Here's why. Because they're going to be, and this is what I told Sarah, I said, look, there's going to be 10 to 12,000 of those people who walk in the doors who are going to be indifferent. They'll be indifferent spouses. Had she and I gone together, she wouldn't care if she had a replica ring.
Well, good. She could have given it to me.
Well, this is what I'm saying is they're going to
Charlie would have gotten one too, right?
There are going to be a lot of folks. No, because she doesn't have a ticket.
Oh.
There'll be a lot of folks who are kind of indifferent. So you're going to see something pop up on eBay and that sort of thing. And for, $65 to $100, it's still cheaper than buying 2 tickets to the game, staying in a hotel. If I can get one, I can get one. That's great. The rings, however, are awesome. Have y'all seen them?
I've not. I've seen the rings. I think the replicas, somehow I don't think they're going to open up.
They do not open up, no, unfortunately.
Which is half the fun.
Oh, open up.
You haven't seen the rings?
No. So the top of the ring you're talking about actually
has a hinge.
Has a hinge?
Yes.
What do you put inside the ring?
Oh, that's where the magic is, big boy.
The magic.
Okay.
There is a...
do the rings come with the magic, or do the Braves have to actually...
the magic's already
import?
happened.
Okay.
It's
already in there.
In November.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
All right. So you open, first of all, there are 755 diamonds encrusting the ring.
Important number. Yeah, there's a reason for that. Yep.
There's also 44 emerald cut diamonds on the ring.
44
important number.
Important number.
44 of those are emerald cut. Then you've got on the inside of the ring, it has the trade deadline date, the 3 teams that they beat in the playoffs,
and the scores.
And initials AA?
No.
But there
Wait a minute. Also, on the outside of the ring, before you open it, there's also a single pearl.
It's on the side, yeah.
Is it on the side?
It's on the side.
Okay.
The pearl is on the side.
Okay.
But it's perfect.
There is a pearl.
Yep. Got to have a pearl.
And
then when you open it...
Well, hold on. We got to get to the... Is it on the inside where the sword is?
I didn't realize there was a sword.
Heredia's sword is under...
Oh, it must be like...
On the inside of the ring, under one of the scores. So there's a little picture of Heredia's sword that's engraved in there, which
There's
is...
for the A on the palm side of the ring as well. But when you open it on the left side, it says, "We are those
dot. It doesn't actually, it just says ...
Yeah.
There's an ellipsis there.
Well, obviously.
Well, I didn't want him to think we just weren't saying it.
No, there is an ellipsis on the ring. And then there is a mock, Truist Park with 11 rubies, denoting where the Braves' 11 home runs during the World Series landed.
Although I'm not sure where they found Solaires.
Yeah, I think I'm not sure Solaires is actually on the ring. I think it's like out.
You just get an extra ruby for Solaire's home run because it's still
Loose.
in orbit.
Yeah.
But did you see the field? So the field is not, it doesn't look like grass. It looks like a waffle. As a nod to Plashke's Waffle House comment.
That's, yeah.
I mean, seriously, they thought of everything.
They left no stone unturned. But I mean,
it's the greatest ring in championship sports history, and it's not close.
The tribute that they paid to Hank Aaron throughout it
Yep.
was just stellar.
I mean, everything about this ring just screams, this is the greatest championship ring of all time.
And second isn't close.
I mean, you would be hard pressed to find one that had that many. Someone said it was like watching a Marvel movie with all the Easter eggs in it. Because I mean, you didn't realize the waffle thing. You know? You didn't know there was.
No, I got to go back and look for the waffle thing. I also got to go back and look for the sword.
It's phenomenal. Seriously, if you haven't seen it, go check it out. It's awesome.
We are way over.
That's okay. Again, the Braves take on the Nationals tonight. That is going to be a 6:20 first pitch at Truist Park. Champions Week continues.
The Nats come in at 1-3. The Braves are 2-2.
Josh Rogers,
who was 2-2 with a 3.28 ERA last season, gets the start for the Nats. Huascar Inoa, 4-6, 4.05 last year, gets the ball for the Braves. And can't let you go without giving you this day in Braves history. Keep an eye, JP, on Chris's face and see how red it gets.
All right, hold on a second. I've got the I've got the ring actually center on. Let me get back to an image that has Chris in it, so I can. There we go.
Monitor
okay.
him. Okay.
All right.
April 11th, 2021, replay was officially deemed obsolete as Alec Bohm was ruled to have scored the decisive run in the Phillies' 7-6 nationally televised Sunday night victory over the Braves, despite a variety of camera angles, all showing that Bohm never reached the plate on his slide following Didi Gregorius's sacrifice fly to the left in the top of the ninth. Entering the game at 4-4, the loss thwarted a chance for the Braves to go over 500, which they would not achieve for the first time until August 6th in their 111th game. So
that's ridiculous. Still, 7 camera angles. Nope.
Not a single one.
Not a one.
By the way, the new they have to announce what the call is. Have you seen this? So umpires now after
they get a
review,
microphone.
they have a microphone after review. And the call on the field is this, blah blah blah.
After further review,
I would have hated to have been an umpire who had to announce that in Truist Park last year.
Oh, yeah.
Luckily, they did not have to.
Oh, that would have been the only thing that would have been worse than what actually was.
Because you thought Tennessee was bad? This would have
golf balls and mustard bottles all over Truist Field.
Absolutely. My gosh. Anyway. Come back tomorrow. We've got Top 5 Tuesday. We've got Chris Lee. Who else we got? Chip Walters.
We got Chip Walters, as we do every Tuesday.
That's right. I forget it's Tuesday.
In fact, we got Chip Walters in studio.
Chip will be in studio. That's going to be fun. So,
that's right.
You guys come back with us. Same bat time, same bat channel, 2 o'clock. We'll see you then on Main Street Sports Day presented by Mid Tennessee Bone and Joint.